Okay, so I apologize for rambling there at the last. I feel like I was kind of getting all my thoughts jumbled. But if you are tuning into part two, this is part two. If you haven't seen the first part, I would encourage you to see that first, just because I'm going to pick up where I left off. So talking about like how our brains are have the ability to imagine, and if you think of that as like God, right, and like you can imagine an infinite number of things that you would want to achieve in life, or that you want to explore or experience, but yet our brains don't have the ability to actually figure out all the details, and that is where your like higher consciousness comes in. Because you can think of like there's like religion, and then outside of that there's spirituality, and then outside of that is like your consciousness. And I think understanding like the whole point of this whole like journey is to have a different perspective, because outside of this realm that we're in, when you think of something, you just like instantly have it. Whereas this is giving us like new perspective on how to like work through and like solve problems. Like a math problem outside of this is just like bam, but here we have to like figure it out. Well, so okay, I'm gonna back up and talk about the whole concept with the television, and like how life is happening on, like, if you imagine life, all past, present, future, all the possibilities are happening on this one TV. And if you don't like the show, you change the channel. And talking about our energy and frequency and vibrations, that is where like meditation can come in. I've found like I never was into meditation before. I never liked getting alone with myself, but now I'm finding it to be very, very helpful. I'm also reading a book by Daji, Daagi, is like what he goes by, but it's called Spiritual Anatomy, and I haven't even finished it yet, but it's a very good book, and I highly recommend it, because it helps you wrap your mind around all these concepts that I've heard about, and maybe you have, that like I couldn't really like understand what the hell, like chakras and karma and consciousness, and like I don't know, it's just all a bunch of stuff that like used to just sound like Greek to me. But anyways, if we going back to, okay, this is what I was going to tell you. I found this like little routine that's helpful. Oh, let me just tell you this too. I found this routine that's been helpful for me, and I've never been big on routines. Let me just say too, I've never been big on rules. Like I've always felt like rules were meant to be broken. And I'm finding though that with my little routine of like meditation in the morning, outside with my bare feet on the ground, and then I do in the book they recommend like 10 minutes of cleaning in the evening, and there's a reason for that, he explains in the book, and then like prayer at night. But I actually found some cool stuff on a website. It's called chakraopenings.com, and I'm not affiliated with them, although I would like to be. I found the ayahuasca drops. It's like microdosing, and you do like 5 drops in the morning under your tongue, and then you swallow after it's sat there for a while. And I've heard some stuff even that like possibly Jesus, when he talked about the blood, that like it was ayahuasca. So I mean, I do believe Jesus was a real like mystic yogi. I grew up in a Christian like teaching, and I do have respect for that. However, now I'm kind of understanding that we all have the same abilities to access the divine nature that like Jesus had, and Buddha and Muhammad and all these other, which I really think they were like enlightened yogis is what they were, and that's what we're all getting there, right? And then I've got the Sananga eye drops, and these things burn like a bitch, but it's pretty cool. So I use the ayahuasca, and then I take my, actually this is so funny, I take my cooler with my ice pack, because when I go outside I'm not going to be able to like put these in and then like put them back in the fridge, and they're supposed to stay refrigerated, so I keep my cooler outside. It's like a whole thing, I don't know, I'm weird probably, but whatever. And then I have the hape, that you actually, so this is the hape, and I use, this one is third eye activation, and then I have the high spirits. And so I got this, and it looks like a Jaguar. It's pretty cool. It's got the Hape all over it. Sorry, but it's like natural stone, and it's called like a curip or curapi. I don't really know. And then you like dip it in the Hape, and then I guess how they did snuff, but I was never into snuff, but apparently that's how snuff is used. And then you like blow, you put the small side in your mouth, and then you blow that side, and you blow that side. Well, you dip it both times, and then you don't actually like let it drain in your throat though. Apparently it's like toxic, not like corrosive, but it's recommended that you kind of lean your head forward and you like blow your nose after a couple minutes or whatever. So then I've done the ayahuasca drops, the Hape, and then I go outside with my cooler and my phone and my headphones, and I just find some really cool like meditations on YouTube. And then once I'm like situated, I put my drops in, and they burn really bad for just like, honestly, like 30 seconds. But now that I've been using them every day, I'd say like it really only burns for just like a few seconds. But if you're not familiar with these products, go to chakraopenings.com, or you can just look up Sananga, ayahuasca, or the Aya microdosing drops, and then the Hape, which is spelled like rape with an accentuation. And I don't even know if I'm not allowed to say that word, but that's how it's spelled, RAPE, with a little accent, whatever it's called, on the E. Okay, so I do all of that. And then, what was I going to say next? Think. Oh, so this whole idea now of like, if you want something, say you're in a really shitty job and you want to like do your own thing, like start your own shit, you know, you can literally just like change the channel. I know it sounds nuts. It sounds super bonkers. Even me saying it out loud, it sounds crazy. But the more we go inward and, you know, healing our inner trauma, like if you want some like help with that, I'll be glad to help you. Like, I'm not charging anyone for anything. I totally don't believe in like charging people to be helped for spiritual healing. But if you want some help, please feel free to reach out to me, because I did actually go through some training a while back. And that's something I was going to tell you too. So I did this like timeline therapy, and it was really helpful. This was like last year. And I was so impressed with it that I like got a certification and like learned how I could work with other people with it. It's basically like healing your inner child kind of thing. But what I didn't realize until very recently, while I'm like laying in my bed, just like whatever, you know, I was listening to, it's the HU. If you go on your phone, you can find the app. It's just called HU. And it's apparently just like a sound that is sung in like a collective group, and it's been used for thousands of years by people when they're seeking like a spiritual unfolding or unfoldment, I think is how it's said. But I was listening to this thing. I'm laying in the bed, and I literally just like, I envisioned my higher self like calling me, and in that moment I like asked her to like come and embody me, and like I literally burst into tears, and it was just like very cleansing, you know, like not to be all weird, but it was like really cleansing. And then I was like super excited, because I was like, holy cow, man, like that's the thing, like your higher self is right there. You just have to align yourself with that higher consciousness. And when you do that, it's like you start to realize how incredibly simple it is to like achieve your goals. And I'm about to run out of time again, so I'm probably going to have to make a part 3. But what I'm saying is changing the channel, right? Is like this whole idea of ascension. Like, do you want to go and like do another round of this shit, or do you want to fucking like peace out, like get the fuck out of here? And our souls, our spirit is literally like, as we're awakening, we will be ascending, and it's like changing the channel, and you can literally just like quantum leap into that new reality. It's crazy.